Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic. And in honor of Halloween, I am an incubus slash kind of succubus for the night. So, in honor of me being in costume and looking hot, I am going to do a reading on the devil. So, it was highly requested. I have done a reading on demons, so I'll put a link to it up here. But I'm pretty sure I've never done the devil. I know I've done what happens when you die, which I'll put a link to it up here too if I remember. But I don't know if I've ever done one on the devil specifically. So I figured I would do a reading, see is he real or, is he a guy or whatever? And if so, what's the purpose? How did it become to be? Is it a fiction, a book of fiction, or a book of fiction? Is it a story, like a false story? Is it real? Whatever. So I'm gonna do a reading on this. Remember, these readings are all legend for entertainers only, and let's get started. Oh, also, you guys can see my workout progress. Like what? Like hold on. Let me give y'all the full tea and crumpets, mama. Like she's been working out or whatever, pumping the iron. So anyways, all right. Remember these things are all legend for entertainers only. Let's get started. If you like these, make sure you join the YouTube members down below. There's a $5, $10, or $15 tier. You get access to a bunch of exclusive celebrity readings, story times, pick a cards, and you can win a reading from me. It's linked down below. It's a join button. You're missing out. All right. So, is he real? If so, what is he? And what's his purpose? Oh my God. There's literally someone burning. Oh my God. Okay. Well, the Hermit is reversed, which is being like pulled out of your comfort zone or out of your element. So if I ask if the devil is real and the Hermit's reversed about being pulled out of something, I mean, that's kind of what the story is, right? He fell out of heaven or whatever. But what's interesting about the Hermit reversed is being out of this dimension. So I definitely think he seems to be there's an entity that seems to be from somewhere else. The Knight of Cups is upright, which is about growth. And then the Seven of Wands, the purpose is like the lack of the opposite of an underdog. So that's someone who's guilty. So we're looking at someone who cannot prove themselves, who is guilty. And the Knight of Cups, which is about growth. To be honest with you, this feels like rehabilitation to me, more so than punishment. Uh-oh. So the Five of Pentacles is an abuse of power, which we know it's reversed. It's an abuse of power. We know like the story of Lucifer, a lot of it from religious scriptures indicates him kind of like, wanting to do his own thing and, abusing power, whatever. But the Six of Cups is reversed, which tells me that there's the past, a jaded past, which coincides with a lot of the scripture from him having a weird past. But the King of Wands reverse, now I know you see that, you're going to think fallen angel, like King of Wands reverse, it's falling. I get it. I do think that there are a lot of similarities to that narrative. And I agree there are similarities, but the problem I'm having with these is that this seems to be the start, not the end. So I do think there is some accuracy to the statement of somebody was fallen, like a fallen angel. It definitely looks like somebody was fallen. But to me, when I look at a Six of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, I see that as the way you're doing things is not the way in which they should be done. So it's retribution. And look, there's the Devil card. So the Queen of Swords reverse. Yeah, look at that. The Seven of Pentacles. That's about being tempted. Oh, shit. Queen of Swords reverse, Seven of Pentacles. I'm tempted from my comfort. Oh, life is more complex than you think. Oh, I'm going to get really witchy and weird. So you guys better be fucking ready for this reading. I think whatever this devil entity is, whether it be a fallen angel or just an alien being I just believe this entity that I'm channeling, I feel like this entity, well, I guess I should say channeling, but that I'm picking up on, this entity has a different opinion of the way in which the afterlife should go. They feel like the way in which this there's an opposing entity. So I guess you could say light and dark, but it doesn't feel light and dark to me. I don't believe, we'll get there, but I don't really feel like the devil is like dark and God or whatever, Jesus, whatever you want to say, is like light. It's more complex than that. Because when I'm seeing this entity, I'm seeing them be like, that is not how I want things to go. It's like if this entity was like, I don't think reincarnation is how it should be. I think reincarnation is a punishment. Like that's what this energy feels like. Like the way in which you deal with souls, I believe is torture. And the way in which I deal with souls, you believe is torture. These are two different belief systems of how people should be handled, or souls should be handled, or the afterlife should be handled. It's two different ideas of how things should be organized. It's kind of funny to me because it reminds me a lot of politics, how there's like two different sides and it's like vote for what's the best. To me, that's kind of what this feels like. I will say this, the devil entity or whatever you want to call it, or idea of what the devil is, I don't know if I would, I know this is going to be controversial. I don't know if I would say that. I don't feel like this entity is one in which they believe in punishment. I believe this is one that believes in repurposing or retooling. So like, I don't think people are getting tortured for all eternity. I think people might see it as torture because they're trying to teach them a lesson, if that makes sense. If I show you your actions, or I force your actions that you did to others on you, will you get it? Will you understand? Like, let's say someone killed someone. Well, if you're getting tortured by like being quote unquote murdered in, this dimension, I'm teaching you the lesson. Does that make sense? Because I feel like this entity has a very big burden of responsibility to show people a different version of events, or show people like, because I'm seeing this person being like, no, there's no point in you. There's no point in you reincarnating. You can't reincarnate. It's like if your soul is discarded and cannot reincarnate, this entity takes place and is like, reincarnation is not what I think is the best. And see this like your soul being kind of like energetically compatible with their dimension, so to speak, and then them teaching you a lesson. I still don't know if I necessarily believe that I don't know if I see torture. It's hard for me to say that because I know a lot of you guys are going to be upset. I don't know if I see torture though. Queen of Wands is reversed and the High Priestess is upright with the Three of Wands, which makes me feel like High Priestess is trust and it's healing. So it's a healing process. And it's also very sacred to this entity. So it's their own version of events. I don't see hell and brimfire. Like I don't see fire and burning alive. I don't see like torture. I'm seeing like a mirrored world of like, this is your world projected back at you. So it's almost like some sort of entity that believes that mirroring people or mimicking and letting them see things is the way. It's almost like this entity guards life review. Like, how there's a belief system that like when we die, we go through a life review and we see our life. It's almost like this person is the one that guards that. Because I don't feel like this entity necessarily rules a dimension rather than guards it. And I also feel like I see someone like jumping into something like a giant well. I see them jumping into like a well or like a watery puddle or something. I see them jumping into it. And then I see them dealing with this entity, and then I see them jumping out of it. You can go in and out of it, which is something I never seen before. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily like, I don't know, like whatever this thing guards, it's something that you're in temporarily. You're not here forever. And they just have a different opinion about how things should go. I don't think they have the power to change the way things are, especially when it comes to reincarnation and the afterlife. But I do believe that this entity, if it had enough power, it would try to do something like that, but it doesn't. And it's condemned to, I don't know about condemned, but its purpose is essentially to show people. It has a hard job. I think of it like an enforcer. It has a really hard job. Do I think that this entity was punished? No, but I do think that this entity is kept at bay by others who are in charge. It doesn't feel as powerful as the other beings that I've seen. Their opposing side, whether you think it's light and dark, the opposing side of this entity doesn't feel as strong, if I'm being honest. Oh, my Morticia lighting is here. You're going to see the lighting right here. Only on my eyes, like Morticia. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel as strong or as powerful. Let's keep going. Like this entity called the devil would be like, think it's funny that people are like so afraid of it and like think it's so powerful, because I see it being like, if only I had that power. I will also say it feels androgynous to me. It doesn't feel really masculine. It doesn't really feel really feminine. It feels completely androgynous. But I do think that it was tempted by people, humans. It was fascinated by humans. This thing has a little bit more empathy than I think people might be ready to hear, just its own opinion. But I see it tempted by humans. I see them fascinated by humans. This being is fascinated by humans, whereas I feel like the other ones are not really fascinated by humans. They're more like Law and Order, and this one is more like fascinated about the emotions that people feel. Like this, oh, it wants to feel the feelings that we feel. It can't feel those feelings. And so there's some sort of like obsession there. Temperance. Yeah, Temperance. I want to feel the way you feel. Page of Wands in the Sun. I want to be able to feel how happy you are, or how sad you are, or whatever. Like, I'm fascinated by humans because it seems like this entity cannot feel as intensely. You know what it reminds me of? If you've ever seen season 7 of Charmed, with Kira, the seer who's a demon who wants to be human again. It's a little bit like that. Which, by the way, if you haven't realized, this outfit was very much inspired by Piper from Charmed when she, gets possessed by that demon and then has like that red tassel crop top and those tight black pants, leather pants, and she danced on the tabletop. Anyways, you can see the Morticia lighting really bad now. I'm pretty much blind right now, but I look good. But yeah, so the Page of Swords reverse, the Ace of Wands upright, and the Stars reverse. I think that this entity sort of questions the purpose of destiny and fate, and what that means. And I also think with the Ace of Wands and the Page of Swords, I feel like it's like, what is the purpose? Like, what are we fighting for in the end? Like, what's our goal here? Like, this entity is very intelligent, very smart, very intelligent, and is a thinker. If this entity was a human, they would be a philosopher. They would be someone who challenges ideas. They would be seen as a scholar. Like, I'm seeing someone who's extremely, very intelligent, like very much like has had a lot of time to sit and think. Like a loner who has a lot of time to sit and think and read books, bitch. Like, that's the vibe. Because the the Knight of Pentacles, the Lover's card reverse, and the Five of Wands. That's like confrontation, but that's confrontation in the form of the role that humans play. The Knight of Pentacles is consistency. This person feels like a lot of the way in which humans are operating feels like hamsters in a wheel, and I think they contemplate what the purpose is in the long run. Like, what is the point of this? I don't know if I would necessarily say that this entity was cast out on purpose and punished, as much as I would say that this entity is different and so they were given a different job. I feel more like this entity was given a job to do that nobody else wanted to do, that they're suited for, rather than this person was evil and pushed aside. They do the job that no one else would want to do. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. Damn, this Morticia lighting, girl. It's kind of cool, though, especially with the outfit. But the Justice card's upright. See, the Wheel of Fortune's reverse and the Page of Pentacles. The expectations. Oh. there are expectations that are put on us and things we're supposed to do. If we do not do them, this person steps in. There are expectations when we incarnate that are put on us. And I see this energy stepping in when we don't do that. Like, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Two of Swords. It's an enforcer. Hangman is reverse. And then we have the Six of Wands. You didn't fulfill what you were meant to fulfill. I also think, okay, this is where, you know how people say the devil tempts people on earth? I think this is where the perception of the devil tempting people comes from. Those who are not doing what they should be doing. I believe those who are not doing what they should be doing, I believe that this entity has the ability to try to nudge us in the direction we need to go through unorthodox methods. And I also believe that this entity would be the type to tempt us, but only in order to teach us a lesson. So what you see as evil is technically a gray area, because it's more so like, are you going to fall into the trap, or did you learn your lesson? Because think about it, right? Let's say that you believe in good and evil, right? If you're trying to learn a lesson from good, you have to be tempted by something evil. But is it evil, or is it told to do this to teach you the lesson? That's kind of what I'm seeing. This is a very much a perspective switch, at least for me. Makes you really think. It serves its purpose. This entity serves its purpose. I also don't know. I feel like it was created for a reason, like specifically created for the role that it has. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it's condemned as much as I believe it was created. Almost like a homunculi. Like, it doesn't feel the same as everything else. It's like if you made something out of clay or wood or whatever and put it to life, like an AI entity almost, but not. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's different than everything else. It's like Frankenstein's monster. But it's a little emotionless and more quiet. I'm not scared by this thing. I'm not intimidated. When I'm around this thing, it's inquisitive and it's subdued. I don't know if I necessarily feel like this is something that's separate from like the light, as much as I would say it's part of the light, if that makes sense. Its purpose was created by the light in order for it in order for order to be restored. This is a very interesting reading, at least for me. Ten of Pentacles is reverse, King of Pentacles is upright, and the Knight of Swords. Because you see how the Knight of Swords like pure intentions, and the King of Pentacles is about structure and order, and the Ten of Pentacles is like things that don't go the way they're supposed to, like people who don't reach the goal. So it's like, this to me seems like it's part of the plan. Also, I know there's a lot of like, everyone's like, oh, sex, drugs, rock and roll, like that's evil. Two of Wands, Five of Cups reversed, and the King of Cups makes me feel like this entity is not, like Five of Cups is like, that would be like alcohol, Two of Wands would be like sex, and the King of Cups upright. I don't know if this person, I think when people say that, I think the reason why this entity could be seen as or perceived as like obsessed with that is because they're more inquisitive with how humans feel and experience than we are. So if you're watching people get drunk, have sex, party, do drugs, and you've never been able to experience that, I could see why something would be like, I want to experience that. I want to know what that's like. Like this thing is like almost like an eternal, like, no, not really, but it's like, it like wants to learn. So I think that's where the obsession comes from. I don't know. I don't think it's as evil as we're thinking. At least whatever I connected to here, or channel, whatever you want to call it. Like I put the intention for the devil, and it seems like what I think people think the devil's purpose is. That's what I'm seeing. So I don't know, you guys. I mean, I guess it's up to you what you believe, but maybe this made you think. So if you like that, join the YouTube members. It's linked down below. You're missing out on a lot of exclusive content, and it's only $5 a month. If you want to do the smaller tier, you get a lot of videos. So until next time, bye guys. Girl, what the hell? Literally.